Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today from all over the world. I want to take a moment to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Oh God, I hope I don't cry. Sometimes I do in times like these. I just want to take a moment to thank you from the bottom of my heart that you are spending time with us here today, out of your busy lives, your busy schedules, and you are open to what I'm going to be teaching and talking about today. It really means a lot that you would honor me with your time and your attention. So thank you for being here. As Lita has just touched on, numerology is a powerful tool that we can use in our life, and 2026 is a really significant year. So I'm going to dive right in and get stuck right into the good stuff, all right? So let's begin by just doing a little intro into numerology. I don't care much about where it came from or why, because I have no idea. I wasn't here 2,500 years ago, or for all we know, it could be 30,000 years ago. God knows what the truth is of where we all came from and where it stems from. But what I do know is how accurate it can be in our life. And so numerology is taking the energy of numbers and letters, because every letter in the alphabet has a number that it corresponds to. So that's how we can get a number for a letter or number energies from words and names. And so it's all about energy. Every number, especially between 1 and 9, has its own description. And we have a slightly different description when we're looking at the numerical description of a period of time, such as 2026 or our personal year number and other forecasting numbers in a numerology chart. And then there's a slightly different meaning to when we're applying the meaning of a number to a person. So we've got a period of time, like a 1, for example, can be new beginnings, new opportunities. But a 1 person, if we've got because we've got our forecasting numbers in our numerology chart, and we've got our personality numbers in our numerology chart. And an example of a personality number for a person would be, for example, the life path number, the total of our birth date, or the day born, or the birthday number, the day of the month we're born on. So if somebody had a 1 life path or birthday number, for example, that doesn't mean that they are a new beginning in their life. The 1, when it relates to a person, would mean the independent individual, or someone here that's here to walk a bit of a path less traveled, be a bit different, but a bit of a black sheep, rather here to lead than follow. So I just have to let you know there's a slightly different meaning to numbers in numerology when applied to a period of time as opposed to a person. So it's a tool that we can use to help us navigate our way through life. So life is crazy enough as it is, right, guys? So the good news is we don't have to fumble our way through in the dark. We've got a tool at our fingertips that can help us make sense of ourselves and find out who we are, why we're here, what we're destined to be, what we're destined to do, and also what's going on around us in a period of time. Because we live in a universe, we live on a planet where we live in energy. Everything is energy, okay? So everything's got a different frequency and vibration. And we have specific energies and vibrations that we are living through each time, each moment of each day, each month, each year. And of course, a whole numerology chart is massive, and I could never do it all in this little call. But what I'm doing is I'm tapping into a small part of your numerology chart, which is your personal year number this year. And I'm going to combine that with the universal year number for 2026 to give you a well-rounded idea of sort of some of the themes that might occur for you this year. Now, because I'm also a certified law of attraction practitioner and I specialize in manifestation and using numerology to give us the best possible chance we could possibly have to manifest, create, attract the things that we want in our life, the outcomes that we want. Let's use numerology and put those law of attraction sort of tips and tools and techniques together and tick every possible box we can to give ourselves the best chance to attract what we want. So let's begin by calculating your personal year number. We're going to start that first, because when I talk about 2026, which is a universal year number 1, the universal year influences everybody in the world, okay? It influences all of us. But we also have our own personal year number that influences us more directly in a more of a personal way, alongside the universal year number. But I want you to work out your personal year number now, because if anybody happens to have a personal year number 1, then you need to really listen extra hard and carefully to the universal year number 1, because you're getting a double dose. You are going to have a personal year number 1 and a universal year number 1, where the rest of us will have the universal year number 1 and a different personal year number. So let's go through it now. How to calculate your personal year number, for those of you that don't already know, is you're going to add the month and day of your birth date to number 1. Why number 1? Because 2026 is a 1, and we're basically going to add the month and day, or day and month of your birth date to the year that we're inquiring about. And we're inquiring about 2026 and how 2026 is going to influence our life. And 2026 is a 1, okay? So when you add your month and day of your birth date to number 1, many of you are going to end up with a double digit, okay? And the key theme here when we're trying to calculate a personal year number is that we keep adding any double numbers together until we eventually end up with a single number between 1 and 9. And that single number between 1 and 9 is your personal year number for the whole year. So let's use this example here. So the example I'm going to use is for the birth date December 17. Now remember, we're going to add the December and the 17 to number 1. So how would we do that? First of all, we would go 1 plus 2 for December, plus 1 plus 7 for the 17, plus 1 for the 2026. Well, that adds up to a double number, and that double number is 12. So the rule of thumb is keep adding double numbers together until you eventually get a single number between 1 and 9. And that's your personal year number for the whole year. All right. Now, some people are lucky enough to have a birthday month and day that's a single digit, and adding that to 1. Let's say you're born on the 3rd of the 5th, and then you add that to 1. 3 and 5 and 1 is 9. Oh, you don't have to add any double numbers together. You got an easy one. Somebody else might add their day and month to number 1 and end up with 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. Somebody else might do that and end up with 11. Where there is an 11 personal year number, for the sake of this class and to keep it short so it doesn't go on too long, we would reduce that down to a 2, even though there is an 11 personal year number. So has everybody got their personal year number and ready for me to go ahead and go through the descriptions? So first, we're going to start with the universal. Oh, great. Let's go. Vandy's a 7. We've got someone that's a 1. We've got lots of people with different numbers. So let's start with the universal year number 1. So 2026 adds up to 10. Add double numbers together to get a single digit. 1 plus 0 is 1. That's why 2026 is called a 1 universal year. Now, the universal year is a number that affects everyone on the planet, regardless of our personal year number. And another name for this number is the world year number. But universal year is the most commonly used title for it. Now, in numerology, our universal year numbers and personal year numbers run in 9-year cycles. So we're in a brand new 9-year cycle. So that means we're going to kick off a whole new chain of events that's going to roll out over 9 years. Now, last year in 2025, we were in a 9-year, and that was the last year of a 9-year block of time that started in 2017. And now that's over. And now we're moving into this new 9-year cycle. Now, as each cycle passes, the frequencies raise. So the planet itself, regardless of whether we're looking at astrology in the age of Aquarius, or we're looking at the age of enlightenment that we're all living in right now, the planet and everyone and everything on it is speeding up. The energies are speeding up. Time is speeding up. Everything is heightened, right? So what that means is the planet itself is going through a massive shift. It's raising the frequency. And that means that all of us that are on the planet, we are being encouraged and kind of pushed into having no choice but to step up to the plate and raise our own individual frequency too, to match the planetary energy, to match that high vibration. So how this appears is it can mean that sometimes for many people there has to be a breakdown to be a break to have a breakthrough. And that can mean a lot of shit can come to the surface. Now, you're going to hear me swear sometimes. I got to let you know in advance. I'm sorry. I try and keep it clean, but I was raised on the rough side of town. And sometimes I just can't help myself but slip a little naughty word in there. You'll just have to forgive me. So what's happening is everything's speeding up, and we're being encouraged to step up to the plate and do the work, do our own internal work that needs to be done so that we can raise our vibration and we can harmonize with that higher frequency. And when we do, we're still going to have challenges, because that's what we all signed up for, guys. None of us are getting off scot-free. The reason we're all here in the first place as a human being on planet Earth is to learn, grow, and evolve from the life experiences we came here for. And we signed up for everything, and nothing is bad, wrong, or a coincidence. It's all part of our path for our development and our growth. So once we understand that, when we have a higher vibration consistently, that means that we can be in the right place at the right time a lot quicker and easier. It means we can attract solutions to problems. We will make the right connections. We will work smart, not hard. So we'll need less effort to get the results that we want, because we're working in harmony and we're working from a higher frequency. Now, how do we raise our vibration, get that higher frequency to manifest the things we want more easily? By doing the work on ourselves. So when it comes to law of attraction and manifestation and visualizing what you want, getting clear about what you want, writing your list of what you want, your wish list, doing the affirmations, doing the visualization, positive thinking, all of that, that's the easy part. It's the work in the back end that's really going to catapult your growth. These are the manifestation codes. This is where, and I'll go into more detail in each of the personal year numbers, those manifestation codes and tips that I'm talking about. But overall, as an overall summary, the real work comes at the back end. When you are working on those parts of yourselves, those parts of ourselves that need working on, whether it's learning to be more patient, whether it's learning to build our self-worth and increase our self-esteem, whether it's learning to have more faith and trust that the universe knows us by name and that we have the ability to attract the things we want. Whether it's just having enough courage to not be afraid when you hear what's happening out there in the world, or what's happening on the news, or what's happening with any of the crazy stuff that's happening in the world right now. So it's about doing the work on the back end, because our personal growth and our self-improvement cannot be escaped. It's why we're here. We cannot get away with it. And in Kabbalah, they'll call it our tikkun. It's our soul's correction. It's the work that we've come here to do. And honestly, we've all got work to do. And that's why I became a numerologist, because not so much the forecasting of the year that we're in, that's a sort of small part of a whole part of the chart. When you know your destiny part, life path number, your destiny number, and your whole entire chart, it's a blueprint of your soul's journey of development. And when you understand what it is and how it works, you will see evidence of it in everything that happens in your life. And you'll go, oh my God, no wonder I'm always going through that. Or no wonder this is happening right now. I'm meant to be going through this because that's what I signed up for. That's why I'm here. I'm here to work through these challenges and these issues and become my best self. And when you know what that is or how that appears, you can make friends with it. You can recognize it, make peace with it, get in the driver's seat of your life and work with it and override all those limiting beliefs, all those patterns of behavior, those triggers, those shadow sides of your personality. You make friends with them, you understand them, you embrace them, and you let them work for you. Because every time you overcome a lesson, every time you shift your perception to a higher vibration, to a more positive mindset, especially in the face of adversity and challenge, you raise your vibration big time and you crack that cocoon. And you start creating more light, more opportunity to manifest the things you want. This is how the magic works. This is the real work, and it cannot be underestimated. And I'm going to go into detail of how it appears in your life in each of your personal year numbers, okay? Bear in mind, I can only get so far and be so accurate without knowing your whole chart. I'm only going by a little tiny piece of the puzzle. So 2026 being a 1, the first year in a 9-year cycle of a brand new cycle, it's going to bring a lot of opportunity and a lot of momentum and give us a lot of fresh ideas. That's why we don't want to waste this energy, okay? Because we're in an energetic world and there's energy all around us, but we have our own vibration, and what vibration we are putting out will determine what comes to us and what opportunities we attract. So if we're in a 1 energy where there's plenty of opportunities and a new mindset and a fresh way of looking at things, and we do nothing about it, we just sit there and go, oh, I'm bored. Nothing ever happens to me. Oh, of course that would go wrong. Or, oh, that person's a pain in the ass. Or, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of that. I hate my job. How do you think you're going to attract the things you want? Because you're in a low vibration. Okay, so you've got to meet that energy halfway. So when it's that one universal year, and if you have a one personal year number as well yourself, you're getting a double dose of what I'm about to say. So that means for all of us, and especially for anyone with a one personal year number, this is a year to take action. All right, move forward. Even if you don't 100% have a plan of attack yet, even if you're still fine-tuning the actual details of where you're going, it's okay. It's about having the initiative and the courage to dare to take the first step. Because if you believe I'll take the first step and the universe will send me the next logical step to follow on from this, it's my job to have the guts and to be proactive about taking that first step. The universe will send you the next step to follow, especially if you meditate, especially if you are in a state of mind where you are able to receive guidance, inspired inspiration, divine inspiration. How do we tap into that? Well, one, we need to be in a state of peace and harmony. We need to be still. We need to be quiet. When we're running around with our tail cut off, with our head cut off, it's very hard to find that intuitive guidance because you're so distracted, you're so busy, you're so stressed, okay? So tips for 2026 and raising your vibration and manifesting the things you want is having the courage to take action. Number 2, work on yourself. Okay, you got to know yourself. Number 1 is the only number out of all the 9 numbers in numerology that focuses on the self. So know yourself, know what your triggers are, know what holds you back, okay? The third thing is to know and believe that there are opportunities all around you. If you start to notice the small things, the small synchronicities, the small so-called coincidences, and acknowledge those and appreciate those and give gratitude and have gratitude for anything and everything, the universe will start sending you bigger opportunities and bigger synchronicities and bigger so-called coincidences. So celebrate the small things, okay? And it also depends on what life path number you are as to how you're going to go through this year. If you are a 1 life path, this year can be really powerful for you, can be a really successful year for you for moving forward. If you're a 5 life path, for example, same thing. You can handle that 1 energy because 1 energy is really quick and fast and 5 life paths are really quick and fast. But 5s need to be a bit more organized. So do number 3s. If you're a 4 life path in a 1 universal year or a 1 personal year, you like to take your time and cross your T's and dot your I's, but don't take too much time because you might miss the boat. So everyone's life path has their personal year and universal year experience is different, okay? But let's get started now on your actual personal year number forecast and get a little bit more personal. So just bear in mind, we've all got that 1 universal year. It's about us knowing ourselves better and our triggers and our shadow and what's holding us back. It's about us all having courage to dare to take action, to move forward. And also looking at new ways of doing things, new ideas, new projects, new friendships, new opportunities to expand in the existing relationships you've already got, and new ways to achieve abundance. Abundance is a mindset. It's not something that happens to you. It's something that you believe and you feel and you radiate out to the world, and the universe or the world goes, wow, I'm getting all this abundant energy coming my way. I've got to match it and send it back. And it will send it back to you in terms of ways to expand on your earnings, ways to save money. You might go to buy something that you thought was going to cost you $10,000 and it ends up being $7,000. People might gift you things. You might make money from unknown sources. There's so many different ways to be abundant. So I'll leave that 2026 little insight for you. Now let's get a little bit more personal and talk about your personal year numbers. Now here's the thing, guys. Even if when I'm talking about a personal year number and that's not the year that you're in, still have a listen because you're going to be in that same energy at some stage throughout the year because we have a personal month number. And the description and the meaning for the years is exactly the same for the months or even the days. We have a personal day number, a personal month number, and a personal year number. And also, you're going to have friends and family and loved ones in your life that will be in a year number that may not be the same as yours. But if you understand it, you'll have a bit of insight into what they're going through and know how you can improve your interaction with them, or have a better understanding of what they might be going through. So as I've already touched on, for the one personal year, it's the exact same description as the one universal year, because it's the same thing. So is there anybody out there that's actually in a one personal year? If you want, you can just write something down in the notes. I'm not really quite sure how to navigate this board here and how to see messages and things like that. So yeah, I'm not even going to try and do that, because you know what will happen? I'll cut myself off the call.
It seems like a couple of people are, like Kat and Lisa,
Oh,
they're
cool. Thank you.
personal year one.
Yeah.
And Sarah Jones is a personal year one. So there's a
Oh,
few
thank
personal
you.
year ones. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's great. Cool. Well, you guys, all guns blazing, okay? Get in the driver's seat of your life. Take charge. Don't let your self-esteem, your lack of self-worth, or your fear of the unknown, or self-doubt hold you back. This is a year to break through, to not let your mind get the better of you. Whenever we're in a one, and so if any of us are in a one personal month, and you'll know, because I do my monthly forecast every month, as a lot of you actually know. So you'll hear it, I'll tell you in that recording anyway, oh, you're in a 1 month this month, so then you'll know. It's also about overcoming those limitations that you have, that voice in your head that says, who do you think you are? Who are you kidding? You're useless. You can't do it. Or even though you might have failed at something in the past, doesn't mean you're going to fail again. It's just a life experience. It doesn't mean that there's no opportunities out there for you. It doesn't mean that you can't succeed. So don't let your head get the better of you, because one is also a mind number. It's a very powerful creative number with the law of attraction too, where you attract what you think, you attract what you believe. So get clear about what you are thinking and believing. All right. So let's move on now to personal year number 2. Anybody in a personal year number 2 this year? All right. So with the 2 personal year, oh, hi, Christine, you're in a 2 year. You got to wake up. Anyone in a 2 year? 2 year has got a strong focus on maintaining balance in your life. And so for all of us, when we're in a 2 month, go back to this recording if you can in the future and remember what's being said and what I'll say in my forecast moving forward each month. It's really important to find balance, to not lose your equilibrium, because this is also a very slow-paced year. And people can get frustrated when they want to run ahead and go through and take the world by storm, because the 2 energy slows everything down, and it gives a more of an emotional aspect and makes things more heightened. It heightens our sensitivity so that it can be more obvious what we're dealing with. So the 2 is about working on relationships that we have with ourselves. So it's a strong focus on self-worth, self-love, but also our relationships and partnerships with other people, because number 2 is the energy of being part of a twosome. So relationship issues that have been brewing beneath the surface with people, and that doesn't mean necessarily romantic partner. It can mean children, work colleagues, neighbors, friends, family members. Issues that have been brewing beneath the surface as you go through this year will rise to be addressed, okay? So the trick is, in order to manifest better outcomes with relationships, we attract what we focus our attention on the most. So focus most of your attention on what you want from that person, how you want the relationship to be, the positive things about the person. Because the more you focus on what you don't like about them, the more you focus on what's wrong, you're attracting more of that. And so it's hard, especially when you're really frustrated by the person, to focus on what you like about them. But this is one of the learnings that's going to come up in a 2 year, because a 2 is going to teach us tolerance, how to be more cooperative, and how to be more understanding towards other people. Now, if you want to manifest the things you want in your life, let's say you want to manifest more money, right? You would think that being more understanding, cooperative, and kind and caring towards others would have nothing to do with you attracting money, but it does, because everything in the world is connected. You can't get away with anything. So you got to do the work, because the more that you are more understanding, kind, and caring about another person, no matter how frustrated you are, that raises your vibration. The more frustrated you are by them and by the situation, it lowers your vibration. In order for you to successfully manifest the things you want, you need to be in a consistently high vibration to the best of your capability. So whatever rate lowers your vibration is going to delay the manifestation of whatever you want. And even if it's an unrelated topic, everything is still connected and everything relates to energy. So those in a 2-year, you've got to be patient. It can be slow moving this year. So know that it's in divine, everything works in divine order and timing, not your order and timing. All right. So let go and let God and get out of the way and trust the order and the timing of things. Be really open, be really kind, understanding, and focus on making your relationships the best they can be. Focus on self-love, and also know that you're going to be heightened emotionally. So you might overreact at times. You might think you're going a bit crazy because you're hypersensitive. That's normal. Use that hypersensitivity to raise your vibration by tapping into the emotions of the things you want in your visualization. When you're manifesting, tap into that emotion and really feel that emotion to get the ball going and increase your abilities to attract more effectively. So I'll leave that with you, and I have to keep an eye on time because time flies, right, when you're having fun. So let's move on now. Oh, does anyone have any questions about that 2 personal year before I move on to personal year number 3? I can't see anything, so you're going to have to tell me, Lita. Has any questions come up from anyone?
No, not yet. If
All
you
right.
guys
Well, we'll
have
have
any
questions and
questions,
answers. Actually, what we'll do is we'll have questions and answers at the end, and that way people have time to type things out and we can get it at the end. Yeah?
I think that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, that's better. Personal year number 3. All right, so the 3-year, okay, is designed to get people to have more fun. And you think, my goodness, we live in this material world where we've got to work for work for success, and we've got to do this and do that. I don't have time for fun. That's a waste of time on paper. But in the energetic spiritual world, it's everything. Because joy, happiness, contentment, satisfaction, appreciation, laughter, connection, creative expression, which is everything that comes under number 3, raises our vibration. When we feel good, we're in high frequency. That's why with Abraham Hicks, for example, in their teachings, they'll have what's called the emotional scale. And in terms of, high vibration, powerful emotions to be in, to manifest and attract, and low vibration, where everything sort of stays stagnant and still. It's very difficult to manifest when you're at that low frequency. The turning point between high and low vibration is the emotion of contentment and satisfaction, comfortable, just cruising along, feeling content. That's the midpoint. Anything above contentment's high vibration, anything below contentment is low vibration. So the 3-year is trying to give you an opportunity to find your own happiness. Happiness isn't something that happens to us. It's a state of mind that we proactively create, and it comes from how we choose to perceive things. So the 3-year can be quite a busy year. There can be a lot going on. So you're going to need to focus and be disciplined. You're going to have your finger in a lot of different pies. And if you're a 3 life path, oh my goodness, or a 5 life path, wow, make sure you write things down. Now, Sue Nicholson, you're a 3 life path. So if you're ever in a 3-year, this is Sue Nicholson, everybody, a good friend of mine, and the psychic medium, the best psychic medium from Sensing Murder television show in New Zealand. Sue's a 3 life path. So Sue, whenever you're in a 3 cycle, whether it's year or month, you've got to pay special attention to being organized. So writing things down, not taking on too many things at once so you get too distracted and don't end up finishing anything, But it's time to be more social, connect with people more, express yourself creatively. So if you've got things you need to get off your chest with communication as well, have those conversations, especially if they are awkward conversations, but come from a giving, loving place, and come with kindness, but you need to speak your truth, okay? Also, the 3 is about creative expression. So if you've always wanted to take up that creative artistic hobby, get out there and do it. It's got nothing to do with how perfect you are at what you do. It's not even got anything to do with the actual end result. It's about you throwing yourself in there and having the actual experience of that creative expression, because that's what the 3 is all about. It's about flexing those muscles. Okay, now how do you manifest more effectively in a 3-year? Well, the happier you are, the quicker you're going to manifest. How do you become happy? Well, you learn to make peace with what makes you unhappy. That's what the 3-year will also do. And it doesn't matter if you're in the year that I'm talking about either, by the way. There are tips that you can learn about how to improve your chances of manifesting no matter what cycle you're in, because things I'm going to say are going to apply to whatever cycle we're in. So, for example, we're going to track more effectively when we're in a harmonious, peaceful positive state of mind, right? But we also don't attract when we're in a low negative state of mind. So how do we improve that? Well, the first thing we have to do is we have to make peace with what makes us unhappy. And the 3-year and any day in our life will point it out if you're looking for it. So you look at yourself and you go, what is making me unhappy? And how do I improve it? A shift in perception is the first thing. I'm a soul, so this mindset, and I start every one of my readings with this setup phrase. We're here to learn, grow, and evolve. We didn't come here to be the perfect person with the perfect life. We came here to do some work, and none of us are getting off scot-free. So if you're dealing with something, it's that or something else, And there are times that we have these long breaks where everything's so easy and smooth and happy and harmonious. And honestly, when those times happen, guys, celebrate it because it's a gift. It's a gift and it's a blessing, and it may change soon. So just learn when nothing's wrong, it's such a blessing because there's always work to be done. So when you shift your perception, I'm here to do the work. What am I here to work on right now? And what is it teaching me? Because the minute you can figure out what it's teaching you and the benefit of it, boom, vibration through the roof. You raise your vibration. In Kabbalah, they would say you build a bigger vessel to hold more light. And the more light you can hold, which you need to build a bigger vessel to hold more light, because that's where all the magic is. The things that you are trying to attract and that you want, you've got to build a vessel that can hold it. Because even if you attracted those things you want and you had not built that foundation of light through personal growth, through working on the challenging aspects of yourself, you won't hold it for long. It won't work. It won't be positive. It'll be what's called, it's temporary. Okay, and it's just instant gratification that does not last. And we want the long haul. We want the really good stuff for as long as possible. So start working out what makes you unhappy, and the 3 will highlight that. And then what can I do to change that and do the work? All right. Okay, so let's look at personal year number 4. The 4-year is a year that's all about building a foundation that will stand the test of time. So it is a year, and we're all going to be in a 4-month this year. So, and some of us a couple of times in the year, depending on what year number we're in. So the 4 is about doing the work. Do whatever needs to be done to get yourself and your life where you want it to be, or where it needs to be, moving forward. So it's where you got to cross your T's, dot your I's. It is also a slow-paced year. So the slow personal year numbers and universal year numbers in life are number 2, number 4, and number 7. Those are the years that are the slowest, where everything slows down and you want to go all guns blazing, full steam ahead, but the energy around you will be slow and steady, wins the race. So the way I describe the 4-year is kind of like the 3 little pigs, right? So the 3 little pigs have to build a house to keep out the wolf. The first one got straw. Oh, really easy to build a house of straw, right? But the wolf blew it down in seconds. The next little pig got sticks. Sticks are really light and easy to build a house. That didn't take much effort, but the wolf blew it down. The third little pig, he's in a 4-year. He has to build his house on bricks. And my God, they're heavy. And it takes so long to get them all just lined up evenly so that everything works out. So there's more effort required. But that wolf could not blow that house down. So that's the analogy for the 4-year. Do the work. It might be painstaking at times. It might be challenging. It might be slow, because in the 4 there can be obstacles, delays, setbacks, challenges. Trust me, I know. I've just come out of a bloody 4-year. Great year. I had so many cool things happen, and I did a lot of work on myself, but shit, it was hard at times. So you put the effort in and the rewards will be there. Okay, because you're in a 5-year next year, just like I am now, when magic can happen. Woo! So the more work you do in the 4-year, the better your 5-year will be. So how else? What else? In terms of manifesting in a 4, you've got to be patient and trust that everything is happening behind the scenes, even when it looks like it's not. You've got to have faith in divine timing, and you've got to learn patience and tolerance. You've got to know that whenever a challenge comes up, the solutions are already there. I have already made it through this challenge. The positive outcome already exists. Everything we want and we're trying to attract already exists energetically. It's not even about what do I need to do to get it. physically. It's actually the inner work that I need to do on the inner that chips away all of the layers that are covering over, that is holding, that is taking and peeling away all the layers to what it is we want, because that's just that heavy energy that's on top of it that we can't get to it, but it's actually already there. Everything already exists. We just have to take the layers away. And how we do that is through the personal development. So 4, and also another thing to do when you want to manifest more effectively, the manifestation codes for the 4 year, is the more organized you are, the more disciplined you are, the more focused you are, and the more consistent you are, the better the results will be, whatever you're trying to manifest. Now, that's easier said than done. That's easy for a 4 life path, especially if they're in a 4 year. Because 4 is very determined and they will stick at things. But 5 and 3s, especially, they're like, oh, I'm bored. Nothing's happening. I'm out of here. Oh, that's funny. Something. Oh, hey, Sin. My friend Cynthia Horn, my neighbour down the street. She's an 11 life path. She is on the call too. Hey, Sin. She's in a 5 year like me. So you guys need to know that slow and steady wins the race. Be organized. If you're a 5 or a 3 life path and you're in a 4 year, stick with it. It might be hard, but you can do it. Don't give up. Don't give up because you get bored and you can't see results. So let's move on now to a 5 year. So for those in a 5 personal year, do I have any other people besides myself and Cynthia in a 5 year? Are you in a 5 year, leader? What are you in? You are, eh? Yes. Awesome.
Yes, I'm definitely in a 5 year. You and I have
Yeah.
similar numbers, 11, 5. Yeah.
Yes, so Lita and I are both an 11 life path, and we're both projectors with the human design. And so
Exactly.
so it's no wonder that we resonated with each other the minute we met each other right from the get-go back in 2000 and I don't know, maybe 14 or something like that, a long time ago. And so 5 year, the year of progress, movement, and change. So it can be a fast-paced moving year. And if you are a 5 life path or a 3 life path, or you have a 5 or a 3 in your chart, hold on tight because woo, all guns blazing. And you want to stay on board. You don't want to get too disheveled. You don't want to get too stressed out because the 5 energy can be like the spin cycle of the washing machine. Okay, and if you're not grounded and you are not stable and organized and structured and have a strong foundation, it can chew you up and spit you out because it is a time where anything can happen, and it usually does. It's fast-paced moving and it's unexpected events. And so those unexpected events and things that can happen can be really magical and really exciting. Like, wow, where did that come from? That's really cool. Didn't see that coming. But it can also be challenges as well. Like, wow, I really didn't know that was going to happen. That's really thrown me. Like, you really have to learn how to pivot in the 4 year and the 3, because things come from left field and you don't know how to stabilize. You've got to learn to adapt quickly and effectively. And so know that it's just try not to hold on to what was. The quicker you can accept what is and pivot and adapt, the better you'll be and the better the outcome will be, especially when it comes to manifestation. All right. So any changes that you want to make in your life, that you know you need to make in your life, this is the time to take action and make those changes deliberately. Because if there are changes that need to be made, or you should make, but you're not because you're afraid of the unknown, you need evidence that it's going to be okay if you change, or you're just being lazy and procrastinating, that's not cool, because you're supposed to be learning and taking action, and the universe may force those changes upon you, and it can be quite inconvenient when it happens that way. So at least you've got some say in being a bit more in control when you're being proactive about making those changes deliberately yourself. It's a time of progress and movement. It's also a time to promote yourself. So if you want to get out there and do that, do those Zoom classes or promote yourself or start up that project, take on new things, travel, adventure, new places, new people, new experiences. Now, if you're in a situation where everything's the same in your life, same job, same home, same friends, same city, then do some things that are new, on a bit different and a bit new. Shake things up a little bit in a smaller scale. It might be trying a new type of food, or going to a restaurant you've never been to, or trying a different route to a friend's place and exploring a different side of the city. Just, something new and fresh. But the main thing is, when you're trying to manifest in a 5, is be organized, be structured, be clear about what it is you want, and you've got to stick with it. Don't give up because it hasn't happened yesterday. Don't give up because you don't see evidence of it. You could be a second away, a moment away from the manifestation of what you're trying to attract, and you didn't even know. So be patient, be organized, be structured, and make any changes deliberately that need to be made if you know that there are changes that need to be made in your life, and pivot and adapt quickly and easily. We'll move on to personal year number 6 now. Whoever's in a 6 year. So the 6 year is all about relationships and domestic responsibilities. All right. So Kim Cox is in a 6. And, everyone's 6 years different. It depends on your life path. If you've got a 6 in your personality numbers from your birth certificate, name, your date of birth, then obviously it's going to be a lot more obvious. And Nicholas Smith as well, is relationship issues. It's kind of like the 2 year where there is a strong focus on relationships. So whatever relationship issues have been brewing beneath the surface will rise to be addressed in a 6. And so we're all going to be in a 6 month this year. So all of us are going to be experiencing the 6 energy. And it's saying to go out of our way to try and see things from the other people's perspective and how things are from their point of view, not only ours, because it's a co-creative experience, right? We're only one half of the equation. So how would things be if I see things through other people's eyes and trying to rise above just seeing it from our own point of view? Another thing about the 6 is it's about being there to be of service and being able to offer a helping hand. So how can I help you? What can I do for you? Now, people that are a 6 life path or a 6 destiny number, or even may be born on the 6th of the month, really have to be mindful in a 6 cycle, because they have a tendency to overgive anyway and be perfectionists and people pleasers. And that's really gonna, there are lessons in that as well. And so for anyone in a 6 cycle, try to let go of people pleasing. Try to let go of being controlling, because number 6 is the energy of I need to control everything. I need to know that everything's going to go this way so that I can then be happy. You have to sort of let go of perfectionism as well, accepting yourself and the imperfection in yourself and the imperfection in other people and the imperfection in life in general. So as you go through the 6 year, there will be themes where you are going to be judgmental, and you are going to want things to go the way you want them. You want to be controlling, but all this behavior is going to delay the manifestation of what you're trying to deliberately attract with the law of attraction. This is how it all syncs up, right? Every time you're of service and you're thinking, well, I'm not here to take, I'm here to give, and I don't need anything in return. I'm just here to come from the heart, to come from the light, to be there, to come from a giving place. You raise your vibration. What happens when you raise your vibration? It's easier to manifest the things you're trying to attract. What happens when you're being greedy and selfish and it's all about me? Low vibration, not cool energy. It's about also finding balance between giving and receiving, okay? And knowing when your glass is empty and taking care of yourself, looking at your self-care. All right, that's going to help you manifest. If you're trying to manifest something, but your glass is empty because you just give, and you're drained and you feel resentful of that and you become a martyr, it's going to be more difficult to attract the things you want or to create or manifest, because your vibration's low, because you're giving too much, you're draining yourself, and you're feeling resentful as a result. Also, when we're in a 6 year, there can be things that may need to be done with the home and domestic responsibilities. And so any work that needs to be done around the house, renovating or just redecorating or having a bit of a tidy up. Sometimes our pets may need us. Grandkids, kids may need us, family members may need us to be that shoulder to cry on. And it's also a time to maybe get a makeover, to look at your own self and beautifying yourself, creating more beauty in life, whether it's looking at beautiful sceneries, maybe it's being artistic and creative, having a bit more color in your life, maybe going on some bushwalks, spending more time in nature and working on your self-care. All right, so I'll leave that with you with personal year number 6. It also, by the way, is a big focus on love and love relationships too. So if somebody's, and hey, we can meet people, trust me, I've been a numerologist, I've been studying this for 30, maybe 34 years going into, I can't remember, but I started when I was 21 and I'm 56, almost 57. So anyway, I'm blonde, I can't add up that quickly right now, but 30 something years. And trust me, there is no specific month or day or year that you could meet someone. There isn't. You think it would be, right? especially with number 2 and number 6, because those numbers are very strongly relationship, partnership orientated. You think, oh, I'm in a 2-month, or I'm in a 2-year, a 6-month, or a 6-year. I'm going to meet someone, and then nobody comes. Or I'm in this year, I'm in a 7 where it's all about personal growth, or I'm in a 4, it's about building a foundation. Oh, I'm not going to meet anyone then. Oh, yes, you will. You could meet anyone on any day, any month, any year. So just know that when your soulmate's destined to come, or your soul lessons are there, or your whatever you are just destined to attract for your personal growth, they're going to come at any time. So you cannot pinpoint it. I've tried. Same with lotto numbers. You can't get those either. So yeah, strong focus on love relationships, whether it's parent to child, friendships, neighbors, just put a lot of energy into your relationships and helping them to be the best they can be. So let's look at personal year number 7 now. So the 7 is all about, and some people, when I'm teaching numerology in my workshops and I talk about the 7, some people kind of hear it and go, oh, I'm in a 7, and it's like, dude, the 7 year is awesome, because I'll tell you why. The 7 year is about fine-tuning yourself and really working on that self-improvement and really tweaking all those little bits about yourself that need work. And when you do that and you raise your vibration, well, what happens when you raise your vibration? Well, you've got a better chance of attracting and manifesting the things you want, of course. But not only that, you then go into an 8 year, the next year, the year of manifestation, and magic can really happen when you're in an 8. So if you've done all the work in the 7, and that's why the universe put them in that order. It puts them in that order so that you can do the work in the 7, so you can reap the rewards in the 8. It's pretty clever. So let's talk more about that 7 year. It's a year to go within, okay? So Jolion's like, woo, yeah. So if you put that work in, so what is the work? The work is number 1. I've just come out of a 7 year and it has been full on, says Anita. I love it. Well, you're in an 8 year now, so yahoo for you. So the 7, the best way to go into a 7 year, especially for manifestation, is because, again, I said number 2 year, 4 year, and 7 year tend to be the slowest energy. They slow everything down so that everything can be really under the microscope. So things are heightened but slower so that you can really get it, so that you get that real opportunity for self-mastery, and the penny can drop and you can have those real moments, okay, and have those breakthroughs. So the 7 is saying create space, create silence, create disconnection if you can, because it's in the quiet solitude and the silence, or time in nature, for example, that you allow whether you want to call it your guides or your higher self or source energy or Aunt Ethel and spirit or the ascended masters, whatever you're into and whatever you believe the energy is that is communicating with you, of what you need to know intuitively, of the next step to take, the right actions to take, the right person to connect with, the right day to do something, the right way to do it, what not to do, and when not to do it, and who not to connect with. The best way for all that guidance, or even if you just want to be more psychic or intuitive, when you can handle being completely still, quiet, and alone without distraction, and get used to that space, you will really start to know your own self better, and you will start to become more susceptible to outside energies or guides, angels, whatever you're connecting in with, because you've created the silence and the space, the room for it to filter through, you see. If you're running around always doing things, always thinking, always busy, listening to music, you're not going to notice things as much, okay? So in a 7 year and a 7 month that we're all going to be in at some stage this year, all of us, is, you don't want to be a social normally when you're in a 7. You want to be alone. You might want to study. Great time, month and year, to study and learn, because the penny can really drop. You can really get it when you're learning and studying things. The amount of clients I've had that are trying to learn some sort of practice or modality, and they're doing a workshop or an ongoing course, and they started a couple of years ago. It could have been a 3 or a 5 year or month when everything's distracted and it's hard to focus and settle down, and they can't really get it. And they can't learn it, and they're like, oh, I'm not meant to do that online course I just bought. Go back and do it in a 7 energy in a month or a year, because you may really get it and go, wow, I'm a legend at this. This is amazing, because you're in a different energy, you see. So the 7 helps us to focus and learn and really, really learn, get things. And the 7 is helping us to become a specialist in our craft. So to advance our skills. The 7 can also mean there can be delays and obstacles. You just have to be patient and trust that things are moving and shifting behind the scenes, even if it feels like nothing's happening. The 7 is also about working on and recognizing, ask yourself the big questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What's the meaning of life? And then sort of great time to study anything mind, body, spirit, and holistic. Great time to study any topic, psychology, understanding human behavior. When it comes to the law of attraction, time and nature, spending time in nature, working on, I don't have them with me. I should have got them. Crystals, manifesting with crystals. Whenever I do my visualizations and my meditation every day, I'm holding a clear quartz crystal in my left hand, because I'm receiving that life force energy, and the clear quartz amplifies it. So I'm amplifying what I am receiving, and I have a Super 7 crystal that I am sending out to the world, and I'm sending it out. So it's going from source energy through to me. It's been amplified, and I'm shooting it out there with that Super 7 crystal, giving that energy the best chance it's got to be of service in this world in the best way that it possibly can. So, utilizing nature, crystals, the energy, Tai Chi, Qigong, like Reiki, all those kinds of natural modalities and things that can really assist us. EFT tapping, kinesiology, all that sort of thing. Health, well-being, mind, body, spirit. And Jolieanne's going into an 8. Yes, and you're going to hear all about that. She says, I've done the inner work and I've completed the training. Bloody awesome. You can't get any better than that in a 7, right? And going into an 8. So while we're on the topic of 8, let's have a look at number 8. And the 8 year is a very powerful manifestation year. Okay, number 8 is the number of law of attraction. It is the number of the law of cause and effect. It is the number of infinity. It is the number of as above, so below. If you look at number 8, it's like 2 circles balancing on top of each other. So it's balancing the material and the spiritual world. If you have an 8 in your own personal numbers, it could be your destiny number, your soul number, your birthday number. And by the way, before I forget, if anyone doesn't know their personality numbers, I do charts, personality profile and 12-month forecast charts that do your whole report. They're normally $25, but I'm doing them for $20. I'll get a link up or something. We'll get the information to you later. But just in case people are like, oh God, I have no idea, how the hell would I know? That's one way you can know, or you can have a reading, of course. But apart from that, if you've got an 8 in your personal numbers and you are in an 8 cycle, whether it's your personal year number, your pinnacle number, your major life cycle number, a personal month number, boom, double the 8s, like triple the 8s for some people. On one hand, you've got to really be careful with what you are giving your attention to, because what you give your attention to, you attract. So on one hand, you've got to be extra diligent about what you are focusing on that you don't want, because you are amplifying your ability to attract more of that. On the other hand, you've got to give extra attention deliberately to what you do want. So when we're in an 8 cycle, 8 day, 8 year, 8 month, give extra attention, do extra visualizations, extra affirmations, walk around the house going, I'm already whole and complete. Everything I want in my life already exists and it's right here waiting for me. All I have to do is raise my vibration to meet it. All I have to do is build a bigger vessel to hold more light and work on my bullshit. I've got to work on those parts of myself that are holding me back, because that's how this game works, Also, the more that you can, if there's something you're trying to attract and manifest, the more that you can go back to memories of other times that you had things you wanted to attract in your life and you did, that helps manifest gives more power behind the manifestation process. Because the universe cannot tell the difference between a thought that we have that's real, a real thought or belief, an imaginary thought, like in visualization and daydreaming and imagining, or a memory. All it knows is the emotion and the energy attached to it, which is the outcome, which is, this was really amazing. It's already happened. I feel great about it. It already exists. It's happened before, and it will send the same thing back. Okay, so that's why memories are really powerful. So if you've got past experiences or things that you've already had happen that you wanted and that are really good, Give attention to those, you will attract more of the same. Also, number 8 here, budget your finances. Number 8 is the number of money, business, and career. So try not to overspend. Be in touch with what be positive, have an attitude of abundance. Know that money is always flowing. So don't hold tightly to your money, let it flow. The more that we hold on because we're broke or we're afraid that more isn't going to come, more won't come, because that's an attitude of lack, right? And so when you're holding on too tightly, that energy, or energy in general, regardless of the 8, it can't flow. We've stopped it. It's become stagnant. We've halted its fluidity by holding on. So we've stopped the chain of events. So you still have to spend to attract more, but you attract what you are, not what you want. So you've got to make sure that you are positive. You believe that you are abundant. You believe that there is abundance everywhere. You might do some law of attraction workshops with Abraham Hicks. You might watch some YouTube videos. You might be into Joe Dispenza. You might be right into your Kabbalah, which, by the way, is amazing. You know, David Guillaume is doing the rounds right now. You've got the Kabbalah Center, especially out of New York. You've got all this wisdom and information that can help you with the manifestation process and the journey of the soul. You can really capitalize your ability to be successful in your manifestation because you've got more knowledge and wisdom. There are so many tools out there. You've got Think and Grow Rich, an old book by Napoleon Hill. You've got Wayne Dyer's work, Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. There's so much content out there from so many different sources, and you just have to choose what resonates most with you. And if you're in any time in your life, but if you're in an 8 month or day or year, or you are an 8 in your personal numbers, this means this is what you need to know at all times, 24/7, and we all do anyway, whether we have 8s or not, is when you are thinking this way and you are utilizing this content about the law of attraction and the manifestation process so that you know it like the back of your hand, and you step into the driver's seat of your life, you can really make magic happen, okay? The opposite is also true. You know, the 8 will amplify whatever you're putting out. So if you are believing there's no opportunities out there, I'm afraid, you know, the 8 is also about becoming more powerful and more self-empowered, so that you don't become disempowered by fears, worries, or limiting beliefs. All right, so I'll leave that with you, number 8. And let's move on now to, last but by no means least, personal year number 9. So we all got a taste of a little bit of a 9 energy last year because 2025 was a 9 universal year number. Okay, so we've all had a little taste of that 9, and because we're all over the age of 9 years old, we've all been through a 9-year cycle in our lives. We've all been in a 9-year many times in our lives so far. And, you know, sometimes the 9-month and 9-year gets a bad rap. You know, it's like, oh my God, it's endings. What's going to fall apart in the 9-year, or who's going to die? I mean, the amount of readings I've done for people, and they're like, someone's going to die this year. Well, I've been through, I mean, I'm 56, so I can't tell you exactly how many 9 years I've been in, but I've definitely been through maybe 5 or maybe 6. No one died in any of my 9 years, and people can pass away in any month, day, or year. So don't be afraid if you ever hear that being said somewhere. But just know, life knows what it's doing. Our higher self knows our journey of development. Everything that happens is meant to happen, no matter how difficult it is, you know, and it's about having certainty over logic, right? It's about being completely certain that everything is exactly as it's meant to be, and having no fear and not resenting what is actually happening. If something comes to an end, whether it's the end of a job, the end of a friendship, the end of a period of time where you might be really interested in something that you've been, a hobby or a project, you might have been in love with it and just so immersed and passionate about it for several years, and then you get to the 9-year and you've lost the momentum. It's come to the end. It's okay. The contract's over. Where one door closes, another one opens. And so the beauty of the 9 is about out with the old to make way for the new. And number 9 and number 1 work hand in hand, side by side. And so that's really where that 9 is saying you're ready to go to a new level now. We've outgrown this. The contract's over. You've moved through it. Let's go to where you need to be next. You know, let's be positive and be really, a lot of cool things happen in a 9 year, because it can be what's called a payoff year, or a month if you're in a 9 month. It's where whatever you've been working away on can come to fruition. And it's the end of the cycle where you can start to reap the rewards. So a lot of people go from the chrysalis to the butterfly in that 9 cycle. And it's where they are fine-tuning everything so that they can move into that new, fresh, new beginning energy. So if anyone's a 9 life path, or has a 9 birthday number or soul number, just know it will also increase your ability to want to be more of a humanitarian, to want to be more of service to other people. So for all of us that may be in a 9-month or year, regardless of whether we have a 9 in our personality numbers or not, the 9 is about being more of service. It's kind of like the 6 year and the 6 cycle and the number 6 itself. 6 and 9 are very similar. They even look alike, except they're upside down from each other. So 6 and 9 is about, being of service. How can I help? What can I do? And offering that guidance to those that may need it. 9 means some people, when they're in a 9 year, may need to learn a lot more about forgiveness. Forgiveness is a grand theme of number 9. So sometimes we can be in situations that will cause us to have no choice but to learn forgiveness. And it's not that we need to forgive the person or the situation or the person because we're trying to be loving to everyone. And that's amazing. If you can do that, aim for that, because that's the ultimate cherry on the top. All right. To be loving, understanding that we're all souls. We have contracts with each other. We are contracted to hurt each other sometimes. We're contracted to betray each other sometimes. There are soulmates and soul groups with soul contracts that are prearranged so that we can learn and grow. And we grow the most when we sometimes have a breakdown to have a breakthrough. Sometimes we obtain more light in our vessel when we are able to move through hardships and challenges, because it's all about how we perceive them, right? So when people do us wrong, it is contracted. As hard as that sounds, as awful as that is to accept and understand sometimes, it's a pretty far out concept. I get it. But there is more going on to the story than just so-and-so betrayed me, or, I got the short end of the stick. And the 9 is encouraging us. And that's why in the 9 cycle, or if you have a 9 of your personality numbers, it's saying rise above, broaden your understanding of yourself, of life, and why we're here. Because the higher your conscious awareness and your perception is, the higher your vibration, and the easier it is to manifest the things that you want. So sometimes in a 9, it can bring the need to forgive ourselves, other people, and the misfortunes of life. Not just to be like Jesus himself or to be this high vibrational being, that's the ultimate. But at the very least, to be able to do that, to accept their misfortunes or things like that, is really helping soften your vibration so that you can attract the things you want, even though they don't seem connected at all. If you can forgive a misfortune or a person that did you wrong, and you can do that, that will amplify your ability to manifest more abundance. It will definitely affect your ability to be more healthy, because those low vibrations affect our health and well-being. So if you want to know how to be a healthier person, be a kinder person, let go of the challenges, be more patient, be more tolerant, be more understanding. That's how we can improve our health. There are people that can be on like organic diets and taking all these supplements and doing all this stuff and be a complete angry mongrel of a person and wonder why they're still unwell. And then you can have someone else that's eating junk food. I love Carolyn Mace. Carolyn Mace is one of my favorite teachers. She's a medical intuitive and a Hay House author. And she was my very first mentor many, many years ago. And, I'll never forget her saying, you can eat cat food, but if you've got a high vibration, you will never get sick, because it's your energy, not all these things you're eating, the supplements, the food. If you can have a high vibration and eat cat food, and you'll be absolutely fine and healthy, and you can have other people that do all the right things and then they're unwell. So, that 9 cycle, it's about transformation, moving from one state to another, moving from the chrysalis to the butterfly, and sort of transforming yourself from one state to another. Well,